Hey friends, I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is Brennen Leigh. She's going to share some stories about Ray Benson, Willie Nelson, and Chris Scruggs.
I met Ray Benson just through the music scene in Austin. And I grew up listening to Asleep at the Wheel. So I knew who he was way before I met him. You know, he's larger than life. Yeah, he just was someone that was doing some humanitarian stuff in Austin. He worked with the Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. He was just very involved. And I had gotten to know that band because Western swing is not a large genre. So, and, you know, even traditional country. So I kind of knew them through the scene. And then we talked about making a record at one point. And then I moved here and I kind of was absorbed in songwriting culture and trying to do this and that. And then the pandemic hit and Sam Seifert, who produced that record, called me and was like, do you want to do this? Record sometime? I had already moved to Nashville. I was like, yes, I want to make a Western swing album. And so we just did, 12 brand new songs. And I was trying to make it in the style of Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys in the 40s. And the Wheel, they knew how to do it. I mean, Ray knows exactly what to do. So it was really fun working on that album with them because, first of all, we'd all just come out of like being locked down. So this was the first time some of us had been in the studio in like a year and a half, been around other people. Some of us were still, I think, like masked. It was pretty, like it was like very early in the coming back to life kind of phase. So we were all really happy to be working together. And all those people are just like Western swing nerds. I love them. It was fun, and I think that's the essence of Western swing is fun. You can hear the fun in it, hear the joy. I think we were doing a birthday party for Ray. Ray has these big birthday parties during South by Southwest, and I was playing on it, and I think like the Avett brothers were playing on it, and Willie was playing on it. And I shook Willie's hand. He just like went down a line of people, and I've never met him. I'd love to meet him, but he and Ray are good friends. I met Chris Scruggs at a writer's round in 2010, I think. And I just knew him as a songwriter. That night, he was writing a lot of songs. And it's one thing, we don't get to hear enough of is Chris Scruggs' original material, but it's as good as everything else he does. And we just became friends. And when I decided to do this record, Ain't Through Honky Tonkin' Yet, I knew there wasn't anybody else that I wanted to work on it because he is mentally and emotionally invested in this type of music, and that's what makes him country music royalty. His devotion to our genre. And so I knew that I needed his heart and his mind on this thing. Like there was no one else that could do it. And we just have similar sensibilities. I appreciate his appreciation for country in this big umbrella of country music and all of its little genres, all of its little subgenres, and especially the mid-century stuff. And so, yeah, he did a mighty fine job. Well, we'll definitely get in these long conversations where I think we're preaching to the choir with each other. I did something recently, and Chris commented on how it was some video of me, and they'd used some weird rock music as the background. And Chris said, "How do we get people to like country music?" I know, rock music, and we kind of both have that sort of, we have both of us maybe a little chip on our shoulder about how country music, I can't speak for him, but like country music is we're kind of looked at as the sideshow or the novelty. And to me, we're the thing. I mean, there's nothing cooler than country music. Country music shouldn't need rock music to validate it. For people to think that it's cool because it's already cool. I mean, it doesn't get any cooler than somebody like Webb Pierce. I'm a geek, but I love that stuff, and Chris loves it. I mean, if you just dig into some of his work, which sounds like you have, he knows He knows the score. I've got good friends that I talk to all the time that are doing it in both places currently. I'm 6 years removed from Austin. I still go back often because my management's there. I work with Asleep at the Wheel, and I work with Kelly Willis and Melissa Carper, and I have a long history with Texas, so I'm back there quite a bit, and I play Western Swing some of the time. So it might be a little skewed or, positively based on that. But I will say my life did improve dramatically when I moved to Nashville. And I don't know if it was the change of scenery or if it was a genre-specific thing, because I've had a lot of friends that have said they had a hard time breaking in, making friends, getting gigs, that kind of thing. In my experience, if you come to Nashville and you have a positive attitude and you're nice to people, your talent actually comes second, because that's what makes this town function is relationships. Also, I think, and I felt that in Texas, I felt that women had a disadvantage. Yeah. And I say that not with animosity. It's just a fact. It's cultural. I don't know what it is, but I felt included in a lot more here. And it could have been a genre thing. Like there's a real group of people that love 40s and 50s country here, that are into the Nashville history, that are into the, just the history of country music as we know it. There's a lot of fanatics here, and those are my people. I'm sit and talk to you about the Delmore brothers for all day. So I appreciated that. There were some people kind of doing some things genre-wise here that was working for me. And then I also moved here because I got a publishing deal. So the songwriting community, the sort of co-writing and publishing community was beneficial for me to be a part of. There's great things about both. I really, if you held a gun to my head and said, you got to move back to Texas, I wouldn't, I'd do it. I do it. I love Texas. I miss the food. I miss, the live music culture there is great. And that's the main difference. If you ask almost anybody, they'll say, well, Nashville's a music business town. Austin is a live music town. And that's, I think, the main difference. Yeah, I mean, I love things about both, but I do feel like my profile went up and my life got easier when I came here. It doesn't mean it's good in Nashville, but I think I figured out what maybe the difference is, and maybe the difference is that in Nashville, it's not less sexist by any stretch, but we understand that women are lucrative. Women are marketable. And in Texas, there's this belief that, well, nobody wants to go hear some girl singer. There is that. There is a lot of that. I've been, there's prominent venues in Austin, dance halls, that would tell you to your face, well, women just don't do well here, or we only book women on Wednesdays. And I experienced that my whole time there. In spite of it, Texas is full of incredible musicians, and I have my people in Texas that backed me no matter what, and put me on good nights, and those people are, we need them. We need more of them. So during the pandemic, I got involved in this group called Sequestered Songwriters, and it was engineered by some friends in Texas, Jason Eady, Courtney Patton, and Matt Hillier. And it started as a birthday party for Merle Haggard. It was like a Facebook Live online guitar poll where one person would start, and it was like a game of telephone. You would do a Merle song, and then you would send it over to the next person, and people could watch. They could follow along. And there was a lot of, there was always technical hitches and stuff because we didn't know what we were doing at first. But it got to be where it was every week, and we would have a different theme every week. We would have a different artist. We would cover that person. And it wasn't always country. It was a pretty broad range, but it was usually someone that was a songwriter, like oh, we're going to do, James Taylor night, or we did Cindy Walker night, I think, which was, great for me. Some of those were really easy for me. And then some of them I had to stretch because I didn't know the artist at all. I had to go find something of theirs that I could learn, and had to learn it within a week and perform it within a week on camera. And you get one shot because it's live. So like we did Garth Brooks night, I think. We did like 90s country night. We did Muscle Shoals night. But the nice thing was it turned into this thing to look forward to. It was a community that I kept in touch with. I mean, I got to see my friends' faces, and I got new fans, people that I still stay in touch with now. And it turned into, me kind of feeling like I was part of this club, which I still feel. And people come up to me at every show almost and say, hey, I discovered you on Sequestered Songwriters. So they'll say that got us through the pandemic. And I always tell them, like, it got me through it too. Just having that little bit of contact and feeling like we all were working on something together. It was a charity event. We didn't like charge for it. It was just all, raising money for a cause.